Well, 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 well. It looks like AEW Dynamite turned out to be BS tonight. BS. The name of my show tonight is called Slimy and Slow in Seattle. We're all in. Be a good show. The Godfather Soul, this one was swimming. But before I start my show, I'm gonna open up the show with this. For those of you know that today's the 30th anniversary of the King of the Ring. I'm gonna open up the 1995 King of the Ring. I'm gonna open the show to this classic match from 30 years ago, 1999 King of the Ring. Bret the Hitman Hart versus Jerry the King Lawler and Kiss My Foot match. Very good match. Very good match. So stick around. I'll be right back. You can bring up my review and here's the Kiss My Foot match from 30 years ago, June 25th, Sunday, June 25th, 1995. King of the Ring 95 from the King of the Ring took place. It was at the Philadelphia, as a Core State Spectrum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And this was far one of the worst pay-per-views produced by the company. And here it is, Kiss My Foot match. Or should I say Kiss My Feet match. Bret the Hitman Hart versus Jerry the King Lawler. So here it is, stick around, I'll be right back.
That's what it's all about. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, it's the crown. Who will be crowned the next King of the Ring? Will it be Savio Vega or will it be Mabel? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to witness up first. Yes, Bret the Hitman Hart against Jerry the King Lawler. It's the first ever Kiss My Foot match. And it's going to happen here in just a moment. Let's take a look at the history of these two.
Bret Hart, the excellence of execution. Jerry Lawler, the self-proclaimed king of the World Wrestling Federation. These two WWF superstars have been going at each other for years now. It all began back at the very first King of the Ring. Bret Hart, after defeating 3 men in one night, was crowned King of the Ring and was celebrating with a sold-out crowd when Jerry Lawler, feeling he was the only true king in the WWF, jumped Bret from behind, destroying not just the crown, but Bret's moment of glory. Lawler's dirty tricks have abounded ever since. He's publicly humiliated Bret's parents.
I got a clue. Why don't you put your false teeth in backward and eat yourself to death?
He's weaseled out of every match Bret has tried to meet him in.
Hey, wait a minute. What's this? What is going on?
And just recently, Lawler challenged Bret to a match at In Your House, knowing Bret had already signed to meet the Asian menace, Hakushi.
This is a contract I've been telling everybody about. All I got to do is try to get that spineless, gutless wonder, Bret Hart's signature on the bottom of it.
Typical of Bret, he wouldn't allow Lawler to call him out and declared he'd be happy to beat the King in the Ring after he beat Hakushi. However, Lawler didn't react with the cowardice that's his trademark. We knew something was up his sleeve. At In Your House, Bret and Hakushi wrestled in an epic battle, one of the most athletic encounters in WWF history, and one of Bret's most difficult wins. However, Bret seemed to injure himself upon leaving the ring. This gave Lawler even greater confidence. As Bret approached the ring, he proved the King wasn't the only one who knew a few tricks. Bret entered the ring and proceeded to show Lawler just how the excellence of execution gets things done. Until Shinja, Hakushi's manager, showed up and distracted the referee, who wound up in the ropes. Jerry Lawler proceeded to unfurl his plan. With the help of Hakushi, Lawler delivered Bret his most embarrassing defeat. Bret lost a match he had dedicated to his mother on Mother's Day because of the King's typically underhanded techniques.
Brett, go.
Later, Brett confronted Lawler demanding another shot, saying he would do anything to get another chance to make him pay for that humiliating defeat. Ever devious, the King came up with the most embarrassing match he could think of. A Kiss My Foot match. Just to doubly ensure a disgusting finale, Lawler has been training in horse stalls and refusing to wash his feet. Recently, we witnessed Aldo Montoya getting a taste of just how well the King's training is paying off. Will Brett get the revenge he so desperately desires? Or will he suffer the agony of defeat?
You know, it's just a short time away before I step in the ring with Jerry the Slimeball Lawler. You know, unfortunately, I've had this history with Jerry Lawler. It seems like he's been a constant thorn in my side, and I almost look forward to see it all come to an end tonight. I mean, I hate to say that I've been training really hard for this thing, but I have. I don't want to make any mistakes. I don't want to make a mistake like the last time. You know, I guess I got to prepare myself for possibility of somebody interfering. You know, Jerry Lawler's always got some kind of trick up his sleeve. But I'm prepared, I think, mentally and physically to handle anything he can throw at me. But most of all, when I think of all the humiliation that I've gone through, my family's gone through, the things he said about my mother, my father, and, you know, even the fans, to have made the fans go through, to actually have to subject them to Jerry Lawler beating me with the help of Hakushi, of course. You know, I find that I let my fans down, that I failed them somewhere. That's why I found myself accepting on any terms, any conditions, this match in particular. But I can say one thing with total 100% confidence, that when this match is done, Jerry Lawler, that slime, that scum, that lower than, well, he will, in fact, kiss my feet. You know, I'm actually not too thrilled about his dirty, slimy lips being on my feet, but all I need is a little redemption here, and that's what I'm going to get. Jerry Lawler, in a few hours from now, I'm going to rip you apart.
And someone is kneeling there in front of the King. Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. There's only one like him. Now we are to crown the true King of the Ring here in the Savio Vega match against Mabel. Let's go to Stephanie.
You're the self-proclaimed king. What do you feel your chances are right now? It's you.
It's you. I think it's you.
What are your chances?
What do you mean, what are my chances? What are Bret Hart's chances? The chances are that Bret Hart will let the entire world see him bend down and kiss my foot in just a few short minutes. You want to punch him?
No, it's
Know what it's going to be like. Come on. Bend down.
absolutely
Kneel at the
overpowered.
feet of the King.
No way. Let's go back to ringside.
And you're talking about a demonic king there, ladies and gentlemen. You talk about King Sting. Jerry the King Lawler. Accepting a challenge of a rematch from the Hitman, but on his own terms, yes. This is a Jerry the King Lawler match. And he is very confident of victory. And you have to understand why he is, because Bret Hart is so overzealous. I think he's counting on the Hitman being disqualified.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. But I also think he needs to put some of that Miselex OTC on that feet, man.
In any event, imagine if you would. Bret Hart, ladies and gentlemen, coming into this matchup, he's done it all. Yes, many would concur he's the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Can you imagine? Bret Hart finishing his career off.
Hart gets finished kissing my feet. I'm going to walk through the crowd and let each one of you bend down and pucker up and kiss my feet, too. You like that, huh? What a great guy. Going to share with everybody.
Yeah, right. If Bret Hart loses this matchup, I think Bret's career is over.
Oh, yeah.
He would never want to show his face again, but thinking of that. Here he comes. Listen to this ovation. Unbelievable! himself by that reception for the hitman Bret Hart. Here we go. Bell, let's rock. Now look at Lawler. Look at Lawler. Tony.
Sure he is. Just a week ago on Superstars, he cost Bret a victory against Henry O. Godwin.
And Bret Hart going to work in the midsection. Look at that. Bret Hart hammering away. Bret Hart going upstairs.
If he gets disqualified, he's got to kiss some feet.
A headbutt. Bret Hart dominating the matchup here in the early stages to the outside. Quickly, Jerry the King Lawler. Lawler on the outside. And Bret Hart's out there with him. Wait a minute. Now Bret Hart is really risking disqualification here. Bret right back into the ring now. Jerry Lawler into trouble.
He's too aggressive. He's going to get disqualified and he's going to have to pucker up.
I can't imagine that, but that could happen. Imagine if you want Bret Hart at the last in your house, ladies and gentlemen, on Mother's Day, dedicating the matchup with Jerry the King Lawler to his mom, Helen, and then losing the match thanks to Shinji Hakushi, losing the match to Lawler. It was an embarrassing moment. It was a moment that Bret Hart would rather forget. But this result of this match goes on. Could be even more embarrassing.
Speaking of Shinji and Hakushi, could they play a part in this?
And Lawler getting back in, breaking the count. And now, I'm not so sure how much damage was done there, but maybe enough to count Bret out. If Bret is counted out, then we would listen to this Burger King chant.
Let's not forget, Bret hurt that shoulder earlier today on the Action Zone against Henry O. Godwin.
Lawler out with a hard right hand, spinning the hitman Bret Hart. They're almost in midair. Jerry the King Lawler now with Bret the Hitman Hart. And again, Lawler risking disqualification again using that retaining barrier. You're not allowed to do that. Jerry the King Lawler and Bret the Hitman Hart would prefer to pull out all stops, but this is a decision by the official. If he deems one of them gets a little bit too far out of line, he'll stop it as a result of a disqualification. And then someone will be puckering out.
Well, hopefully the official will be a little bit more lenient than usual with the rules here. I mean, we'd much rather see somebody win 1, 2, 3, and then pucker up.
Bret Hart to the buckle. Jerry the King Lawler with a thumbs up looking down on Doc Hendricks. And Jerry the King Lawler at the moment.
Oh, the pile driver.
Can he do it? Lawler sets up Bret Hart for the pile driver. Yes, he gets him out. He gets him way up down. Bret Hart may not be the same. Taking that pole on the outside into the steps. And Lawler is wasting time. Lawler must have some tricks up his sleeve.
He's very cagey. He's very cunning. Here he goes, another one.
Here we go again.
Oh, this is it. This will be the end of Bret's career.
Oh, another pile driver.
Well, there's two.
Could it be Jerry Lawler hitting Bret Hart and ruining Bret Hart's career, ending Bret Hart's career in disgrace as Bret Hart has to kiss Jerry Lawler's disgusting feet.
Now, when he takes that boot off, I'm going to the back. I can't stand the smell.
Bret Hart, number set up again. Here we go. The third time could be the charm. And here we go. Yes, unbelievable. A devastating pile driver. Why isn't Jerry Lawler covering Bret Hart?
They call that a trifecta, Vinnie Mac, and that's it.
Cover. 1, 2, and a kick out.
I can't believe he kicked out after 3 pile drivers.
And Jerry the King Lawler can't believe it either.
And neither can I.
And Bret Hart to the buckle. And again, the King in control.
You got to be careful with Bret. Nobody plays possum better than he does. Don't worry about the fans, Lawler.
Well, they're bothering him. No question about that. Jerry Lawler moving back into the hitman. Bret Hart reaching to the punch. Goes to the midsection again. There's Bret Hart hammering away on Jerry the King Lawler. A regular face by the King. And Lawler back in control. To the outside, through the ropes. Now then, some of you may be confused. Jerry the King Lawler calls himself the King. But
What's he doing? He's undoing his boot. Lawler's undoing his boot.
The King Lawler, yes, I believe he is.
Oh, God. I can't.
Oh, no, that stinking rotten. Wow. Look at the toes and the heel have already eaten their way through the sock. No!
That's it.
Oh, look at that Lawler behind the official's back. Just nailed Bret Hart. I can't believe it.
Zip it up.
Lawler just nailed Bret Hart.
Oh, man.
And now, Bret, his career is coming to an end.
Good.
No, it's not. It's not.
My nose is coming to an end.
Lawler trying to move in now. On Bret the Hitman Hart. That right boot. Look at you can see it's on set. The stench must be horrible.
There's got to be. It's horrible over here. No. Jerry, please put that boot back on. Oh.
And there's nothing in the rule book that says you have to wear foot gear. Oh, wait a minute. Trying to take a nasty foot. But Bret Hart has it. Bret takes him down. Bret drives himself into the lower abdomen area. I thought for a moment we were going to see the sharpshooter.
Something sharp, all right. Smells like sharp cheese.
Lawler with a sharp right hand to the gut. And look at that. Bret Hart retaliate. Bret the Hitman Hart. But Jerry Lawler. Lawler has a boot in his hand. Oh, the receiving end of an elbow. Another one. Another one. And oh, wait a minute. Lawler behind again, shielding that blow from the official, rammed the boot right into the eye of Bret Hart. And Lawler, luckily for everyone about ringside out in the first 10 rows, Lawler zips that boot back up.
Yeah, good. I hope he rams that foot in the boot, zips it up, gets this over with.
I think it has Lawler. Look at this now. Lawler tries and connects. Jerry the King Lawler would not like anything other than a victory here because Jerry the King the cover now. Two and a kick out by Bret again.
That's all he's looking for is a victory. Somebody's got to win. There's got to be a winner, and there's got to be a kisser.
Wait a minute. Bret Hart in trouble now. Lawler being warned by the official. Let's get off. Oh, I can't see that. Moved his feet back into the ring, and in doing so, Lawler's kisser went with it. Bret Hart hammering away.
The count's going on. It's up to big one, Hakushi.
Hey, wait a minute.
Here comes Hakushi.
Hakushi in there as well.
I told you how to play it.
Oh no! They've set up the Bret Hart. What's this? Ginger missing the Hitman, connecting with the King. It was Hakushi with the blow in. Ginger distracting the official. Jerry Lawler being set up now. Lawler coming off the rope. Going downstairs. Bret Hart. Ginger Hakushi embarrassed over their attempt and failed attempt to stop Bret the Hitman Hart, and nothing can stop him now.
Sharpshooter time.
Bret setting up Jerry Lawler. Drives him down the knee. And now, Bret Hart to the corner. Bret Hart drives the elbow. Bret the Hitman Hart.
They're going nuts.
That's the feet.
They're on their feet here in Philadelphia.
Imagine Bret's mom at home watching this on pay-per-view. Here we go. Here goes the sharpshooter. Nothing will stop Bret Hart now. Good. Lawler trying to hang on. And that's it.
Oh, no. Now, if he don't let go, he'll reverse the decision. He better be careful.
Bret Hart hanging on.
It's up to 3. They're going to reverse it.
Whoa. Bret Hart almost was disqualified. And now there's only one thing left to do, ladies and gentlemen. And that's for Jerry the King Lawler to pucker up and kiss Bret Hart.
Better get out the list
Hakushi and Shuja. Wait a minute, Jerry the King Lawler coming around.
Jerry the King Lawler must kiss Bret Hart's foot.
You heard it from the ring announcer. And the boot is off, the sock is off. And now, the most humiliating, the most embarrassing moment in the history of Jerry the King Lawler, the rest of his career, is about to happen. Here comes Hakushi. Here comes Hakushi. Here comes Shuja, they're back. Oh, wait a minute. Wait from behind. Jerry Lawler attacking Bret Hart from behind. And sets him up again. Hakushi, no.
He's 0 for 2 tonight.
Bret Hart coming up Hakushi. Hammering away in. Hakushi. And now, the prone Jerry Lawler has only opened wide. Open wide, Mr. Lawler. Here it comes. Kiss by Royal Foot. Stuck down in his mouth. Look at that. Jerry the King Lawler. Gagging. Yes, Jerry the King Lawler. Kiss the royal feet. Oh, back. Back. Hard operation.
That was gross.
And look at this.
Oh, no, that stinking butt. What's he going to do with it?
He's gonna make Jerry Lawler kiss his own stinking butt. Look. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Lawler is kissing his own butt. Jerry Lawler, ladies and gentlemen, is gagging. He's rushing over the corner with the celebration. The Hitman Hart will continue.
You talk about the agony of defeat and the smell of defeat.
Bret the Hitman Hart has avenged the loss indeed in their prior encounter. And truly, no one could be prouder than the lady whom he dedicated the previous match to his mom on Mother's Day, Helen, back in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Look at Lawler. Look at Lawler.
Oh, man. I'd say Bret sucked it to him.
I think he's had some bad chicken. Yeah. I wonder if Bret's toes tasted like chicken. Who knows? Jerry the King Lawler, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look at that kisser. Oh, he's embarrassed. Oh, he's upset.
Next Saturday, the 1995
Yep, that was 30 years ago today. All you just heard, 30 years ago today. On this day, 1995, the 1995 King of the Ring, Bret the Hitman Hart versus Jerry the King Lawler. Kiss My Foot match in Philadelphia Center, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the King of the Ring Core State Spectrum, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This was worst pay-per-view, worst King of the Ring of all time. Yep. At the Philadelphia Spectrum. So get down to business with tonight's show. My review. Son of a bitch. By the way, I got some breaking news for all of you. John Cena says he was in an interview this morning on Good Morning America. And he says he's confirmed retired. That means he probably might lose the CM Punk Sunday. That's possible. Well, let's get down with tonight's show. AEW Dynamite kicks off with Pyro as we see Toni Storm entering the arena as she is attacked by Mercedes Moné. Storm is thrown into equipment creates. Mercedes Moné says, "Welcome to Dynamite," and throws Storm from the back towards the stage in front of the fans. Mercedes Moné calls her a bitch, and if Storm wants to play, they can play. Who is she? Now she would sound like Tom Lee Jones from the movie Batman Forever. He says, "Yeah, we can do some. We can say we sound like Tom Lee Jones. What he said in the movie Batman Forever when he says this. When he said this." Listen to it. Now she's gonna sound like Tom Lee Jones, saying if Tony Storm wants to play, we'll play. And Batman Forever celebrated its 30th anniversary just 2 weeks ago, June 16, 2025. Okay, she gets a modified crossface on Storm as AEW officials come out to break it up. Maria Shikawa's music hits, and as she comes out as Mercedes Moné lets go of the hold. Mercedes Moné tells Storm let the games begin as she throws the microphone on Storm. We cut to an announce team, but we hear from Matthew and Nicholas Jackson talking as the camera cuts to the giant stage. They said if they used their backstage influence to get Swerve's and Ospreay's match moved up, it's not later tonight, it's right now. Will Ospreay and Shore Strickland versus Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. Here we go. The bell rings are underway. Swerve and Lee start the match. Swerve goes for a suplex, but Lee blames his feet on and rolls the corner, and Blake is tagged in. Swerve tags Ospreay into the match. Ospreay with a chop to the chest, and Blake is thrown into the ropes, but Blake lands a Hurricanrana. Blake runs toward Ospreay, but Ospreay with a big boot face followed by an atomic drop. Swerve is tagged in, and they double team Ospreay, and they double team Blake. In comes Lee, but is knocked down. Swerve tags Ospreay as he goes for a cover, but Blake kicks out. Ospreay goes to the ropes and he kicks and lands a kick to the head. Lee gets in the ring as Ospreay throws him to the outside. Ospreay crosses his body over the top rope onto Lee on the outside the ring. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson's music hit, and out they come. And go to commercial break. Back from the commercial, Blake with a 450 splash onto Ospreay. He goes for a cover, but Ospreay kicks out. He throws Ospreay into the corner, but Ospreay with a big boot onto Lee, taking him down. Ospreay get with a kick to the side of the head onto Blake, and Swerve is tagged in. Lee gets in the ring, and Swerve takes both men down. Swerve on the ring apron, and he kicks Lee in the face, followed by a jumping DDT onto Blake. He goes for the cover, but Blake kicks out. In comes Lee, but Ospreay takes him down. Swerve and Ospreay double team Blake and land the Bling Buster. Swerve with a house call, he goes to the cover and gets the pin. EVP's call for security as Swerve and Ospreay were about to go after them. Security gets in their way as Swerve and Ospreay go back into the ring. Swerve, since after year after year, people had to do with bullcrap from the EVPs. You won't go for another year dealing with them. Swerve looks at Will as it says that they will do something about it. They will challenge the Young Bucks to a match in All In 2025, and Ospreay mentions that the Young Bucks put EVP's titles on the line. Back from commercial break. Back from commercial. The Young Bucks are backstage. They tell Swerve that the AEW rulebook. Swerve put his hands on the AEW official and is suspended for a week without pay. In comes Kazuchika Okada, who says he has some friends, and in comes the Don Callis family. The Young Bucks laugh and they leave the segment. The segment ends with Okada and Takeshita face to face. Kota Ishibushi versus Trent Beretta with Rocky Romero. The bell rings are underway. The fans chant Ishibushi and Bushi. Ishibushi and Ishibushi with a front. The fans chant Ishibushi and Ishibushi with a front kick and front headlock, but Trent gets out of it. Ishibushi with a drop kick and Trent is down in the corner. Romero gets on the ring apron and that distracts Ishibushi, and Trent hits him with a clothesline. Forearms to the face but by Trent, followed by a big boot to the face, and Ishibushi falls to the outside of the ring. Trent distracts the referee and Romero with a big boot onto Ishibushi. Trent to the outside, and he pushes Ishibushi into the barricades, and Trent throws Ishibushi back in the ring. Ishibushi runs towards Ishibushi, but Ishibushi with a power slam. Both men are down. Ishibushi takes and takes Trent down with Ishibushi standing moonsault. He goes for the cover, but Trent kicks out. Ishibushi goes for a full Nelson, but Trent gets out of it. He lands on a kick to the face, and Trent with a running kick to the face, followed by a power driver. He goes for cover, but Ishibushi kicks out. Trent with slaps to the face as Ishibushi gets to his feet and chops Trent in the chest. He goes for the kick. Trent ducks and lands on Dragon Suplex. Ishibushi gets right back up and lands on a Dragon Suplex onto the Trent. Ishibushi goes for a cover, but Trent kicks out. Trent with a crucifix or cover on Ishibushi, but Ishibushi kicks out. Trent with a clothesline followed by a right hand. He goes for another right hand, but Ishibushi with a double underhook. He slams onto the mat in a dope stump by Ishibushi onto Trent. Ishibushi with a running knee to the face, followed by a knee to the face. He goes for cover, but gets the pin. Kazuchika Okada music hits, and out he comes back into the ring. Both men are face to face, middle of the ring. Okada backs away and leaves the ring with the fans booing. It's announced next week that Dynamite 300 will be Kazuchika Okada against Kota Ishibushi. Cut to a video of Jon Moxley in a stairwell. He says Hangman and Page has lost focus. Will he grab it? Moxley says he doesn't think Page will. He says Page is afraid to become what the world needs him to be. He says for someone like himself to walk the walk he did to be current AEW champion. Page makes him sick. He calls him a crybaby and says the world champion does not stay away from responsibility. He walks into the fire and takes an ounce of crap from nobody. He says on July 12th, when Page is feeling his emotions, he will get elbowed to the face and choked into oblivion. Moxley will show the world what the world champion looks like. Commercial break. Ricochet and AR Fox versus Jet Speed, Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. The bell rings are underway. Ricochet tells AR Fox they will start the match. 4 men are in the ring and begin fighting. Bailey throws Fox to the outside, and Ricochet is between both men. They double team him, and AR Fox is tagged in. Jet Speed double team him. Bailey runs toward Fox, but Fox throws him to the outside and takes Knight down with a clothesline. He goes for the cover, but Knight kicks out. In comes Ricochet, but Knight tells him with a clothesline to the outside of the ring. Back from the commercial, Ricochet and AR Fox are not on the same page as one goes for a suplex and the other doesn't. They argue, and it ends with Knight hitting Fox with a big boot. And Ricochet is thrown to the outside. Bailey is tagged in. He hits Knight with a Fox. He hits Fox with a kicks. Bailey running with a shooting star. He goes for cover, but Ricochet kicks out. Knight is tagged in. He and Bailey land a double drop kick onto Ricochet. They double team Fox and in the ring. Knight goes for the cover, but Fox kicks out. Bailey is tagged back in, but he was dragged to the outside, and Ricochet throws Bailey into the ring steps. Fox with a suicide dive onto Bailey, and he throws Bailey back into the ring. Bailey with a kick to the face, and he climbs to the top rope, but Fox with a drag fly. Knight tags Bailey in as Fox goes for a tag. Ricochet drops off the ring apron. He turns around and Knight with a drop kick followed by a sky high. Knight climbs to the top rope and lands on a UFO splash. Knight goes for a cover and gets the pin, winning his Jet Speed. Ricochet unwraps his wrist tape on the stage and heads to the back. Tony Schiavone is on stage, and as he speaks with Jet Speed, Bailey tells him, "With great power comes great responsibility." That came from Spider-Man, by the way. Spider-Man comics. But the AEW tag titles have been held hostage for too long. It's time for someone comes to their rescue. Knight agrees with Bailey, and he says it's time for those titles to come home. And that is around their waist. 1, 2. You hear the clock ticking. Tick-tock, you're hurling my feelings. As Knight is talking, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin take them from behind. Out come MVP and MJF with them smiling. Lashley and Shelton throw them into the ring steps, barricade, and ring's apron. MVP tells Moore and Jackass Freeman to go with him, and they head to the back. Double snap suplexes on the floor. On the outside, MVP and Moore and Jackass Freeman bring out a table, and Shelton places it on Knight on it. Lashley lifts Bailey up and Joe slams him through Knight and through the table. MVP asks for a microphone. He says now that they have been taken care of, that little business, MVP asks for music. Moore and Jackass Freeman stands behind them, and MVP tells them to start walking to the ring. MVP says this is an official announcement from the Hurt Syndicate. He asks for someone to stand up to AEW Tag Team Champions. And speaking of stand up, if Jet Speed can even stand up after that beating, he will be willing to meet them at All In for the tag team titles, on the condition they can walk. MVP asks for everyone's invited attention. He hands the microphone over to the young genius Moore Jackass Freeman. The fans boo, and Moore Jackass Freeman thanks Montel. Moore Jackass Freeman says last week he unmasked the defeated Lucha Libre legend. MVP cuts him off, and the fans boo. Moore Jackass Freeman tells MJF to show MJF respect. Moore Jackass Freeman says he is not there to talk about all of his accomplishments. He says that next week he will be entering a qualifying match for the men's casino gauntlet in All In Texas. When he wins, he's going And when he wins, he's going to get one step closer to rightfully his, not a dictator. John's and not their crooked cowboy hangman, but his AEW World Championship. Moron Jackass Freeman tells him to hit their music as they post, but Mark Briscoe's music hits and out he comes. Moron Jackass Briscoe tells MJF that they know that they all know that Moron Jackass Freeman can listen to himself talk all night long. However, the producer said that Max is taking so long once again they will hit Briscoe's music. Briscoe asked them to leave the ring. That way they can take care of business. Warren Jackass Freeman says he doesn't care about what time it is. They can take up much time as they want, because unlike Mark, they are actually stars. Warren Jackass Freeman says the fans love Mark and they like him because they can relate to him. They all grew up dirt ugly and poor, but is willing to bet that everyone in the arena and at home as much as bills in their pockets as does teeth in his mouth. Warren Jackass Freeman calls Briscoe a blue collar bitch. Briscoe calls him hilarious, but he sees that his inner turmoil, that pain where it all comes from. He says that the word today is empathy. The fans chant empathy, and Briscoe says that Max is trying to compensate for something, like all these hurtful comments from him, from a place of insufficiency, in a place of, he says, if he was Warren Jackass Freeman 30 years with a teeny tiny kosher pickle in his pants, he will hang out with those guys too. MVP tells Briscoe that they are all about business. This is not the business. He tells MVP they will all exit the ring, and the fans chant kosher pickle. MVP says that they will exit the ring and leave Mark to do what he does better than anyone else. They will watch him lose. Commercial break. Fatal 4-Way #1 spot in the men's casino gauntlet at AEW All In 2025 Texas. Kazuki Takeshita versus Mark Briscoe versus Bandito versus Roderick Strong. The bell rings and we're underway. All four men brawl in the ring. Strong and Briscoe fight on one side, and Takeshita and Bandito fight on the other. Bandito with a drop kick on Takeshita to the outside of the ring. Bandito to the outside, and Takeshita is thrown into the barricade. Strong with the right hand onto Mark in the ring, but Briscoe with a forearm. Briscoe to the right ropes, and he kicks Takeshita down. Briscoe on the apron, and he takes Bandito down. Strong with a baseball slide. Back from the commercial, Strong with a drop kick onto Briscoe. He comes Bandito, and is Strong with a backbreaker. Takeshita in the ring, and he is thrown to the outside, and is Mark Briscoe. Bandito and Strong with a double clotheslines. Both men to their feet, and Bandito with a cutter in midair. Bandito climbs the top rope, but Takeshita pursues him off to the outside. Takeshita climbs to the top rope, but Briscoe pushes him down. Mark climbs to the top rope and goes for an elbow, but Strong moves out of the way. Strong with a chop to the chest, and both men exchange chops. Strong with an Olympic slam. In comes Takeshita, and he kicks Strong in the face. Places Strong on the top rope. Takeshita on the top rope, and he lands on a superplex. Mark Bandito on the top ropes. Briscoe with an elbow, and Bandito with a frog splash. They go for the covers, but Strong and Takeshita kick out. and Mark with Bandito and Mark with chops. Bandito goes for a German suplex, but in comes Takashita. It's a double German suplex. Takashita goes for the cover, but Strong breaks it up. Strong with a knee followed by the double knees. Strong runs towards Takashita, but Takashita with a blue thunder bomb goes for cover, but Strong kicks out. Winner Mike Briscoe. Bandito with a face onto Takashita. Bandito with a German suplex, but Takashita rolls to the outside. Bandito to the ropes, but Strong with a knee to the face, followed by double knees. Mark with a froggy bow off the top rope. He goes for cover and gets the pin. Winner Mark Briscoe. Cut to Adam Cole, who is backstage. He makes an open challenge for his AEW TNT challenge against anyone from the Don Callis family tomorrow night on Collision. Fatal 4-way #1 spot in the women's casino gauntlet at AEW All In Texas 2025. Athena versus Willow Nightingale versus Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander. The bell rings are underway. Athena takes all three women down. She climbs to the top rope, but Chris with a kick to the face. Chris and Rosa get on the second rope. Willow goes under them, and it's a double suplex powerbomb onto the top rope. Then we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Rosa with a clothesline onto Athena. Rosa get to the top ropes. Rosa gets to the ropes, but Athena catches her and slams her into the mat. Athena gets Rosa on her shoulders. Rosa reverses it and falls back into a crucifix cover, but Athena kicks out. In come Willow and Chris, who take both women out. Willow and Kiss are face to face, and both women with elbows to the face. In comes Athena, and who kicks them both, but they double suplex her. Rosa and on top of the rope, she lands on a double drop kick onto Chris and Willow. Rosa goes for the cover, but Willow kicks out. Athena to the ropes. Rosa is with a sunsplit flip, and Athena gets to her feet. She lifts Rosa up, but Chris pushes her onto Athena. In comes Willow, who goes for the cover, but Rosa breaks it up. Rosa with a drop kick onto Chris throws her to the ropes, but Athena drags her to the outside and slams her. Rosa pushes her down and drags her onto the ring steps. She grabs Athena, but Athena with a right hand, she suplexes Rosa off the ring and steps onto the outside. In the ring, Willow with a cannonball in corner onto Chris. Willow grabs Chris, but Chris comes Marie Shafir, and that distracts Willow. Yuta comes from behind Willow that grabs her, but Willow with a shoulder tackle and takes him down. Chris with a spike power driver onto Willow. She goes for the cover, gets the pin. Winner Chris Statlander. Sloppy match, very sloppy. Right, hold on, wait. Before I finish, I got some breaking news for all of you. Former WWE says from WrestleView here. Former WWE and AEW talent reportedly tells people that they will be back in a few weeks. According to Fightful Select, Vicky Guerrero told multiple people she will be back working with WWE in a few weeks. The report also notes that Guerrero has maintained a positive relationship with WWE. Should be noted that WWE's Evolution 2 Premium Live event will take place just in a few weeks, Sunday, July 13th. Guerrero spent time with AEW from 2019 to 2023, where she was also a manager. Upon her departure from AEW, her daughter Sherilyn accused her stepfather, Chris Benson, Guerrero's husband, of sexual assault in early 2022. Xiao and Chavo Guerrero supported Sherilyn regarding her claim. Vicky then issued a statement including Benson denying Sherilyn's allegations. In addition to that statement accusing Sherilyn of lying. All I can say is this: if WWE brings her back, I'm gonna be bored to death. Bored to death. Vicky Guerrero. Give me a break. I don't trust nobody can trust Vicky. I don't trust Vicky Guerrero. If Triple H and WWE bring her back, TKO, I'm gonna be bored. Now we're going to commercial break. Hangman Adam Page versus Beast Mortos. The bell rings to run away. Mortos with an armbar followed by a headlock, but Page gets out of it. Page with a headlock, and Mortos throws him to the ropes and Mortos with a hip toss. Both men exchange reversals, and Mortos with a chop to the headbutt. Mortos goes for a knee to the face in the corner, but Page moves out of the way. And Mortos falls to the outside of the ring. Page throws Mortos back in the ring, and he lands on a fallaway slam into the corner. Page goes for the cover, but Mortos kicks out. Commercial break. Back from the commercial, Mortos with a pop up Samoan drop. He goes for the cover, but Page kicks out. Mortos goes for a clothesline, but Page ducks and lands on Poison Rana. Page with lariat. He goes for the lariat. He gets on the ring apron. He lands on a buckshot lariat. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. Winner Hangman Adam Page. His hand is raised in the bar. His hands is raised in the air after the match, and as the lights go out, lights turn back on, and we have the Young Bucks in the ring. They hit Page with an EVP trigger. Out comes John Moxley and the Death Riders. He get in the ring, and Moxley has a steel chair and a chain in his hands. He chokes Page with a chain. But out come Samoa Joe and Hobbs and Shibata in the air. Ospreay with Death Riders, and they leave the ring as Dynamite goes off the air. Terrible show. That was just crap. Complete crap. That was just I don't know how this is gonna look for All In. I don't know. I mean, you just unfreaking believable, this show. I mean, I don't know why in the world that AEW shoving Mercedes Moné name in our throats just like the same way they're doing with her team bad buddy Naomi in WWE, and just like the same shit they're doing with Becky Lynch, her buddy from her Four Horsewoman buddy. I mean AEW is shitting on the women's division just like WWE is shitting on the women's division. That's all I can say. That's my review. Now it's time for something I like to do for all of you. All you know it's time for. Oh, sorry about that. It's time for Justin's Time of History, all the wrestling birthdays, pop culture, and some sports. All you hear that thing is a thing for Back to the Future starring Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. Can't wait for his 40th anniversary. 1 week from this Thursday. 1 week from this. 1 week from tomorrow. Yep, 1 week from tomorrow. Celebrate his 40th anniversary. Back to the Future was released June 3rd, 2012. Because it was released July 3rd, 1985 in theaters nationwide. One of my favorite movies. So let's go to yesterday, June 24th. Okay, yesterday would have been a happy 67th birthday to Tiny Lister. Some of you know from Debo from the Friday movies, and the guy who played Zeus in the WWE movie. The WWE movie with Hulk Hogan called No Holds Barred. He died of COVID-19. And he'd be missed. And I miss him dearly. And yesterday was a happy yesterday was a happy 61st birthday to Time Mac, better known for playing Bruce Leeway from the 1985 cult classic. Bruce Leeway from the 1985 cult classic. Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, one of my favorite movies. He wrestled. He would wrestle at some events in VPW and OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling. And yesterday was a happy birthday to Jessamine Duke, a happy 39th birthday to Jessamine Duke. Adam Pearce turned Adam Pearce, Raw general manager, who's not doing a good job, turned 47 yesterday. Turned 47 yesterday. And let's see what else. On WCW now, see on WCW Pro. Okay, we see highlights from Great American Bash '95. And then we see a match. The Nasty Boys defeating Tom Burton and Manny Fernandez in an interview in the Nasty Boys. Then we see Bash in the Beach '95 Control Center. And the Blue Bloods, William Regal and Bobby Eaton defeated Larry Santo and Gary Jackson. And a feature on Dungeon of Doom. Renegade defeats Jobber Mark Starr. And I think Paul Orndorff defeated Leroy Howard, and Vader defeated Ricky Lane. And then we interview with Vader. Let's see what else. And on the same day in WCW Worldwide, Blue Bloods defeat Eddie Jackson and Red Tyler. And Gene Okerlund interviews the television champion Renegade with Jimmy Hart, with some of the reminiscent of rip-off of WWE's The Ultimate Warrior. Diamond Dallas Page with the Diamond Doll and Max Muscle defeats Bert Sawyer. And Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry defeat the Nasty Boys, win the title, and Booker T. Piggs Jerry pin Sags after Earl Robert Eaton knows Bobby Eaton gives Sags the Tower of London. Let's see what else. And on WWF Superstars, the day before 1995 King of the Ring, Vince McMahon and Doc Hendricks, some we know as Michael P.S. Hayes, Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels defeats the Brooklyn Brawler by countout. Man on a Mission, Mo and Mabel defeat Jerry Flynn and Mike McReynolds. The Undertaker with Paul Bearer defeat Barry Horowitz. Skip and Sonny defeated John Crystal. Bam Bam Bigelow defeated Mantar, and Triple H defeats Mike Curry. Let's see. See, trying to see what else. Hold on, I'm trying to see what else. See, WCW Saturday Night. WCW Saturday Night. WCW TV Champion The Renegade defeated Joe Forte. Johnny B. Bad defeated Julio Sanchez. Alex Wright defeated Butch Long. DDP defeated Chris Kanyon, his friend. WCW US Champion Sting and the Road Warrior Hawk defeat Harlem Heat. Let's see. See, June 6th, see, June, see, June 20th, see, destroy, see. Okay, on Impact, 2005 Impact Wrestling, TNA, Michael Shane with Tracy. Michael Shane defeat with Tracy. Defeats James Storm with Chris Harris. After Slammiversary 2005, Shark Boy defeats Davey Young. Samoa Joe defeats Delirious. Christopher Daniels defeats X Division champion Christopher Daniels defeats Illich Skipper. Now let's go to a couple of pop movies were released as they June 24th. Two movies released in theaters nationwide. Bewitched, based on the TV show Fantasy Romantic Comedy, starring based on a TV show that became a flop, starring Nicole Kidman and Will Ferrell. And it was directed by the late Nora Ephron, the director of When Harry Met Sally and Sleepless in Seattle. The supporting cast in this movie includes Shirley MacLaine, Michael Caine, Jason Schwartzman, Kristen Chenoweth in their film debut, Heather Burns, and David Alan Grier. Yeah, this movie became a real big flop. Major flop. And then another movie came out in theaters called Land of the Dead, an apocalyptic horror film starring Dennis Hopper, John Leguizamo, Asia Argentino, and British actor Simon Baker, the Australian actor Simon Baker. And this marked the second time Hopper and Leguizamo played together because they worked together in 1993's Super Mario Brothers. The late Bob Hoskins. And June 24, 2015 on Impact Wrestling. Before Slammiversary 2015. Tag Ray Uno would defeat Low-Key and Grado to win the TNA X Division Championship. Velvet Sky defeated Angelina Love. Dirty Heels defeated the Wolves in a Full Metal Mayhem match. Best match 4 of 5 series for vacant TNA World Tag Team Championship. Vader, late Vader, God rest his soul, defeated Brand by DQ. Eric Young defeated Chris Melendez, and Kurt Angle defeated Matt Hardy by submission. Then on NXT, Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy with Carmella defeated Jason Jordan and Sylvester LaForte. Dana Brooke with Emma defeated Cassie. The Hype Brothers, Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder defeated Angela Dawkins and Sawyer Fulton. Finn Balor defeated Rhino. Then Owens continues to act like a bully to Dale and Tommy. Now let's go to today's May the 25th, June the 25th. One year ago today, we lost Sika. Some of you know from the Wild, Simone Sika, Roman Reigns' father. He died of he died on 1 year ago today. We lost him, Sika, the Wild Simones. Now he joins Alpha. And he would have been $80 years old today. Sika. Jessica Carr turns 34. Yeah, Jessica Carr turns 34 today. And Bobby Blaze turns 62 today. Mark Jindrak turns 48 today. Now let's see some wrestling. Now see some wrestling history for today. On this day, 1995, on WWE F WWE Wrestling Challenge. It's hours before 1995 King of the Ring. The $1 Million Corporation sit in Tatanka with Ted DiBiase defeated Buck Quartermain, Gus Kentaro Rickus. Adam Bomb defeated Reginald Walker. Aldo Montoya defeated Bill Payne. Akushi Wisinja defeated Bob Cook. Mabel Wamo defeated David Haskins. Jean-Pierre Lafitte defeated John Serensky. Now this day, and in WWE Action Zone, on this day, June 25th, Bret the Hitman Hart defeated Henry O'Godwin. WCW main event. It is the Action Zone was just hours before the King of the Ring 95. By the way, let's see main event. Hacksaw Jim Duggan defeats Sergeant Craig Pickman. Now, on this day, 1995, the 1995 King of the Ring took place that I just mentioned. Show the highlight opening show with Bret Hart versus Jerry King Lawler Kiss My Feet match. It took place by where it's called the World time where it's called the World Wrestling Federation. Now WWE's World Wrestling Entertainment. 1995 King of the Ring was the third annual King of the Ring professional wrestling pay-per-view event promoted by the World Wrestling Federation, now WWE World's Worst Wrestling Entertainment, which also featured the 9th King of the Ring tournament. It took place 30 years ago today on Sunday, June 25th, 1995 at the Core State Spectrum in Philadelphia, which is now First State Spectrum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This pay-per-view is somewhat notorious among WWE fans and considered one of its worst pay-per-views produced by the company. Yeah, let's see, see, the first match of the show opening it was a little there was an open the first opening the show with the show that never showed was a dark match, and the opening the show with it was Savio. It was a King of the Ring qualifying match. Savio feared with his Razor Ramon defeated Earn Shiester with Ted DiBiase. And the second match, this is the real opening of the show. Savio Vega with Razor Ramon defeated Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette by countout in King of the Ring quarterfinal match. The Roadie with Jeff Jarrett defeated Bob Holland in King of the Ring quarterfinal match. The Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels versus Kong with Ted DiBiase ended on time limit draw. King of the Ring quarterfinal match. Mabel with Mo defeated The Undertaker with Paul Bearer in King of the Ring quarterfinal match. The only reason interference by Kama, somebody knows the Godfather. Savio Vega with Razor Ramon defeated the Roadie with Jeff Jarrett King of the Ring semifinal match. Bret the Hitman Hart defeated Diesel. Bret the Hitman Hart defeated Jerry the King Lawler in Kiss My Foot match. Mabel with Mo defeated Savio Vega. King of the Ring final match, becoming the King of the Ring 1995 King of the Ring. And Diesel and Bam Bam Bigelow defeated Tatanka and Psycho Sid, the main event and tag team match. Now let's go to 2005 WWE Velocity. Booker T with Sharmell defeated Billy Kidman. Rene Dupree defeated Patrick Lizer. Chris Benoit defeated Steve Gray Eyes. Orlando Jordan defeated Nunzio, retained the U.S. title. And this was just before day before Vengeance 2005. And on WWE SmackDown, June 24th, 2015. Sheamus defeated Dolph Ziggler with Lana. Alicia Fox with Brie Bella. Alicia Fox with Bella Twins defeated Naomi with Tamina. Ryback defeated Kane by DQ. Primetime Players defeated Bo Dallas in the New Day. Seth Rollins with Kane and Joey Mercury defeated Dean Ambrose. Lucha Dragons defeated Bo Dallas and Heath Slater. Cesaro defeated Luke Harper. And that's it. That'll do for got it all covered. I'm the Godfather Soldier Slimy. Hit like, make a comment on the video. As the late Cherry Henshaw used to say, like to dress up like Chubby Checker, sing like James Brown. Like to get in the hot tub, gonna be sweat, gonna be dry, gonna be wet. Referring to Eddie Murphy doing the impression of James Brown on Saturday Night Live. Now I got everything out of the way, and I'm gonna close out a little bit of music for all of you tonight. I'm gonna close out this #1 hit single from 1995 called it's called Remember Me This Way by Jordan Hill from the movie Casper. Remember Me This Way. So hope all have a good night. And here it is, close out the show for 1995 of the Casper movie soundtrack, Remember Me This Way by Jordan Hill. This song is very romantic. So hope all of you a good night. And I'm out of here. Peace. One second.